Hi, this is Chi. My movie was about the activities I collected from my host teacher's classroom. She is the third grade teacher from Crawford Elementary School. The movie shows the various ways she is integrating the 6 key elements of language arts with her students. As you can see, the madam who is reading the book for children is my host teacher. Her name is Miss Gerhard. She is sharing one of her favorite books with her students, and I think she used the reading and listening elements in this activity. In my opinion, sharing teacher's favorite book is a great way to attract children's interest in the classroom. Then, this picture is read aloud. Miss J is reading the Jenny book for children. She also asks students some questions regarding the passage she read. It included the reading, listening, and speaking elements in this activity. The next picture is read aloud also, and it's me, which happened before the Halloween. I was reading the book, An Old Lady Who Wasn't Afraid of Anything. I showed students the cover of the book and asked them to predict the story. You can see they hand up to answer my question, and this is snack time, so they were eating the apples during my reading. In this activity, it combines the reading, listening, and speaking elements. Then we move to the small group reading. Miss G divided her students into 4 different reading groups based on their reading level. She made 2 groups a day, twice a week. During this small group reading, Miss G usually guides them by asking questions and explaining some key words or unknown words, and then give them a question before reading the chapter. Students will use the sticky notes to write down the answer to the reading question, and it will be used in the discussion for the next meeting. And also, Miss G will ask the students to read the signed page one by one and help them correct the pronunciation. In the group meeting time, other students are doing their daily 5, which is a literature circle. Students are doing different literacy activity at the same time and rotate every day. This activity includes reading, listening, and speaking elements. This picture is about children watching a read aloud story video on YouTube. Ms. G would pause it sometime and ask them to answer some reading question. It has the same elements as the reading aloud before. And this is my favorite activity. Children are watching the Harry Potter movie after they listen to the chapter that Miss G just read, so they can compare and contrast the book and the movie. I think it has the reading, listening, and visual representing elements. Then, these 2 pictures are about independent reading time, and it happened during the daily 5 time. In this activity, what my host teacher wants to do is to build students' reading muscle or stamina. Children can choose the spots they want to stay, but the key principle was that they cannot sit by someone that will distract them. These following 2 pictures are the partner reading in the daily 5 time. Children are reading one book with their partner. They can choose their own partners and decide the books they want to read. In this picture, you can see there's a girl who is riding behind the boys. That is because they have different works to do at the same time. It's all based on their choice. However, the key rule is that they cannot always repeat the same thing every day. They need to do different reading and writing tasks each time. I think the daily 5 activity combines the reading, writing, listening, and speaking elements. Now, I'm going to talk about the writing workshop in my host teacher's classroom. The topic of this writing is, what are you thankful for? In the first picture, it was a poster created by Miss G in her mini lesson. As you can see, it has introduction, body paragraph, and conclusion. Miss G introduced this structure to students while teaching and wrote down the ideas that the children gave to her. By viewing this poster, students can review what they need to do in writing activity. It provides visual support for them to use. Then the next picture is about students are writing their first draft. Since it was the first time for them to write a 5-paragraph paper, Miss J let students write 1 paragraph one day, so that they would not struggle in such heavy writing work. After they finish their first draft, students need to type their draft on their Chromebooks. My host teacher did not provide a text like peer reviewing or self-editing for students because she thought they haven't have the ability to do that. They will do that in next semester. Checking writing status is important in writing activity. What Miss J did is to write down the sentence "I'm reading for feedback" on the whiteboard. Students are required to write down their name below the sentence, and they would erase their name after the text had done. In this picture, Miss J and students are doing the teacher conference. The teacher is checking their writing and giving some suggestions to students, such as grammar errors, the topics need to more supporting details, the sentence require rewrites because of the unclear meaning. The students need to revise their writing after teacher conference. After students finish their paper and revising, they need to write down their name under the place ready to print, so that teacher could know which students already finished and which one is still working on his or her writing task. Lastly, Miss J printed students' writing paper and displayed them outside the classroom. This is also the last step in writing workshop, sharing published pieces. I was glad to see this whole process in my host teacher's classroom so I could know how to implement them in the future. The following pictures are all about visual representing and viewing. In this picture, it was the daily study objectives for each subject. Students need to write down them in their planner every morning so that they can know what they are going to do today. For literary teaching, it includes grammar, reading, and writing. Then, the next picture is a poster created after reading an article about castles. Miss J wrote down the words or ideas that students said while discussing. It was a useful way for both teacher and students to review what they know, and it's a good visual support for students to go back to check. So this picture is a poster about young Thomas Edison. Miss J created this after reading a story about Edison. It includes the main idea, details, and summary. Basically, creating poster is the most common teaching method that my host teacher used in her classroom. This activity asks students to describe the cat on the worksheet. They need to choose the cat, color it, and describe it. I think it was a good way to help students before writing because they can visualize their imagination and give more details while writing. So do this activity, the students need to draw a picture about when I grew up, I want to be, and they can write the pieces based on their drawing. For this picture, it was a poster of writing options for students to choose during their free writing time, and it is the activity I mentioned in my artifact. I think free writing is important for students to do in their daily time because they can jot down some ideas and practice their writing skill. In this picture, you can notice that there is a piece of yellow tape on a word, which is used for warning students this is the target vocabularies in this book. I think it is a useful way for teachers to use if they have a book which doesn't have the target vocabularies at the end of book, and the sticky notes is for small group reading. In this picture, it is the activity happened at the first week of this semester. Ms. Gerhardt gave this handout to students and let them to draw the sentence. Mistake is the proof that you are trying. I think this is a good visual representing about the sentence. The last picture is the activity at Halloween. As you can see, students decorate a pumpkin based on the book The Tale of Despereaux. I think it's so funny and cute. It was an exciting activity for students to visualize their reading. In conclusion, I learned a lot from my host teacher's class. I can see how she integrates different elements of language arts in different activities. In my artifact, I include a lot of ways she showed me, like creating a poster or using the anchor chart to record students' idea, and the writing and reading schedule she used in her classroom. I really enjoyed the time with Miss Gerhardt and her class. It is the best third grade I have never met.